Alright, quick update on SLP. So today we've really done nothing but go sideways, but what I really want to talk about is how the momentum indicators, specifically the squeeze mom, is now heading to the downside. Now, previously we really haven't seen a short-lived downtrend in terms of the squeeze mom. Normally once we start to head bearish on this, we normally have an absolute landslide. So I really think we need to pay attention to the weekly close that is obviously going to be happening in the next couple of hours. For me, if you're in the US, it might be a little bit more time, but nonetheless, I mean, we're really looking quite sticky right now on the higher time frames. Or if we come over to the daily, I think this switch over to the red is the number one thing we really need to focus on. Now, you can also kind of still see we might still be in, we're still in a very general uptrend. I mean, to me, this looks like a asymmetrical triangle tap pattern. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect asymmetrical triangle that we've got going on right now. So I'm personally not really flipping super bearish until we have like a daily slash weekly close outside of this asymmetrical triangle. But the number one reason why I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines is because this bearish momentum still has a chance to potentially flip green in the next 5 hours or so, whenever it is when your daily close is coming. I think we should focus on the US close. If we're hanging out here tomorrow, we're putting another daily close outside of this asymmetrical triangle, then I think it could get very, very ugly. And while I'm personally not going to take the price target of this, because yeah, it's going to be in the minuses, so it's not really relevant anyway. I have still been talking about our need to hold the 786, so I'm really very much slightly, I'm kind of leaning towards a bearish stance on this. I mean, we're really not looking too good. I don't see us, getting away with not coming back down and at least retesting this 786 after this move we've had. And I'm really 50-50 on this, because if we come over to Bitcoin, like I've been talking about for Bitcoin, I do think there is a possibility that Bitcoin's going to come down to 40,000 within the next week. But Bitcoin is starting to pump. Like, we're having a very slight rally right now, and we're really not out of the clear until Bitcoin breaks above 44,000. So for me personally, I think the markets could be getting ready for one quick flush out to the downside. I'm personally not shorting this because I really don't think it's smart to short Bitcoin when we're still in a very, very nice uptrend. Like you can see, even if we come down to 40,000, we've got lows, lows, lows. We've got a formation of higher lows going on right now. So I don't personally think now is the time to short Bitcoin. Nonetheless, my gut feeling is saying, by the end of the day, by the daily close, I really want to see Bitcoin breaking out of 44,000. I think if we're hanging around this 43,000 tomorrow, then these 4-hourly EMA ribbons are really going to start converging. Momentum indicators are going to start heading down, and this is going to cause Bitcoin's squeeze mom to start heading to the downside very strongly. And then I personally, obviously, the squeeze mom on the daily for SLP is really the same as what we're seeing going on Bitcoin right now. So I really think this is all eyes on Bitcoin. We should be watching what Bitcoin does before we make a decision on SLP. Nonetheless, SLP really needs to hold 156. We're getting closer and closer to it by the day, and I can't personally flip bullish again for SLP until SLP breaks above both this, well, it's this big red box here, but you can see the top of it is this previous local rejection point at 216, and then we have our 618 Fibonacci round about the 210. So it's really all eyes on 216. I think we need to break 216 before we can become bullish on SLP again. Nonetheless, SLP is still in an uptrend, Bitcoin's still in an uptrend. I'm not looking to short either of these right now, but it is just a slight caution that we are seeing these momentum indicators switching to the downside, especially on the daily. I mean, obviously I already talked about what's going on with the 4-hourly. I think obviously the daily is the most important thing to do, and this can get quite scary because you can see if we potentially head down to the 786, which is a 19% drop, then there is a very high chance of these of the short-term moving average on the daily EMA ribbons converging below the long-term moving average, and this will cause a bearish flip on the daily. And I do want to point out that we have recently fired long. We've only been firing long for like the past 5 days, and if we go back to the last time SLP fired long, it's not very nice to see what happened. So SLP has really been in a short since this was added on Binance, but nonetheless you can see this has previously flipped the daily EMAs once before, and on the dailies it made an Emming pattern, broke below the neckline and started to head down, and we really only saw these this daily EMA flip for 33 days before we started to completely landslide. So we could be setting up for something like that. I don't want to put my money on that. I'm really saying that I'm sitting on the sidelines, but there are a few cautionary signals that I see here. You know, we've got this Emming pattern as well, breaking below the neckline. Even if this isn't a perfect M, from the wicks it's a perfect M, but nonetheless it is an Emming pattern. We're Emming out on the 4 hour, we're really firing bearish momentum, and within the next day or two, if we're not strongly pushing back above this 216, then we're going to have weekly closes out of this asymmetrical triangle. I'm going to have to assume that the 786 is going to be in play, which once again, this is about a 20% move I'm predicting. But all in all, it's just it's a very cautious time to be an SLP right now. The momentum indicators are calling for a move to the downside. I don't think we're out of the clear for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin flips 44,000, this is why I'm saying it's all eyes on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin flips 44,000, then this bearish momentum, you know, on Bitcoin and the total crypto market cap can be avoided. Like, we haven't flipped red for the total crypto market cap yet. We could be setting up for something like this, where we've reset the momentum. I think it's more likely we have a quick flush out to the 1.84 trillion for the total crypto market cap. This could potentially mean Bitcoin is, you know, heading down to 40,000. Maybe it doesn't need to head all the way. It could have a fake out to, like, you know, 41, 42. I mean, we've already come down to 42, so we're really already starting this move. Momentum's not looking too good for Bitcoin and SLP, so I'm being cautious. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I really want to see a break back above 216 before I consider making my next trade for SLP. So that is all I see for SLP. Once again, keep your eyes on 216. That is the moon line. That is your 618 of this macro fib. If we break above the 618, then, you know, I can just call this a big rally, a 786 retest, a break above the 618, and then a 618 retest, and then we'd be very, or at least I'd be very confident to call that we'd be at least kind of moving back up in the short term. But I'm not convinced that's what we're seeing right now. A lot of momentum is starting to shift. Short-term moving averages are starting to converge on the long term, and I think we need to be quite cautious right now. So I'm waiting for the weekly close. If you're watching this, you know, on Monday, or if you're watching this in 4 or 8 hours time, we really need to see a close, you know, around 2 cent. If we're around this region, which we're at like 1.9, you know, it's very iffy, because I mean, this is why I don't really like trend lines anyway, because you could probably just draw it this way and say, oh, we're still bullish, or I mean, you could draw it like this and you could say, oh, we're bearish, we've broken out of it. I'm really not the biggest fan of trend lines. I'm focusing on these fibs, and while we are putting in this bearish momentum, I have to assume the 786 is on the table down here at 156. So keep your eyes on 156. I think price is going to be gravitated towards there. And until we break 216, I really can't be bullish or make any more bullish predictions for SLP. So that is all I see. Best of luck if you're in it. Once again, none of this is financial advice, just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.